What's going on, y'all? This is David W. Williams, and what we're going to talk about today is why you need to join a online biz op early. And what we mean by biz op, we mean business opportunity, because we're talking about the business opportunity market. Normally, I would do a video, but I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I say I'll just do an audio today. Give y'all a good visual of Usain Bolt leading the pack, so you can connect that visual to the title of joining something early and trying to be ahead of everybody else. And so what we're going to do is let me explain why you need to join an online biz op early in the game. So let's say you're a newbie, and by newbie I mean that you've never really been in the opportunity market, or you're very new to it, you haven't had any level of success. And you feel like a biz op is a solution to your money issues and how you're feeling about your life. You want to go in a different direction with your life, and you just want to make some money. So you join the biz op, and you get ready to start making some of the cash that you see everybody talking about they're making in this particular market, the big checks, how much money they're making per month. You start thinking that you're going to get in line to make some of that money. And so you've been given what we call a video sales letter, or VSL, and that's designed to promote the opportunity that you're selling. So you post the VSL on Facebook, put a little bit of text under it, because you want to get somebody to buy into the opportunity. You're full of enthusiasm, and you want to go ahead and get things going. And nothing happens. You post a VSL on Facebook, nothing happens. And so you say, well, you know what? The biz op you join has some really good online marketing training. And so you study that training and decide that you're going to use a solo ad, which is a particular marketing technique to market your biz op. You're full of belief, this solo ad is going to work because the marketing training told you that solo ads worked. And so you send out the solo ad and you get ready to get some of that money that's going around this particular opportunity marketplace. So you sit back, you're waiting for the checks to start rolling in. However, nothing happens. And you can't figure out what's going on because you followed all the training to the letter. You were full of belief. You feel like you did everything you needed to do to be successful. But you know what? What happened is not necessarily your fault, but it is your responsibility to learn out what is going on. Because if you don't learn what's going on, two things are going to happen to you. You're going to quit the biz op game, or you're going to go broke trying to market that VSL to the whole world that they've seen 20, 30, 40 times before you ever join the biz op that you're in right now. And so let me give you the real deal on what's going on. And the reason why I know this scenario so well is because this scenario happened to me. I was a guy that joined the biz op as a newbie, got that old sales material because the company had probably been around about a year, and did exactly what they told me to do as far as how to market it, and nothing happened. It was because everybody in this particular opportunity had already seen that sales video. And so the approach I was taking was an approach that had already been pretty much exhausted. You couldn't take that approach anymore. However, you're not being told this when you come into it, because the person that is trying to get you to buy into the biz op, they're interested in making a sale, not really teaching you what is actually going on. So the biz op company will only produce one sales video, and we already discussed this. So when they produce that video, it converts real well because the messaging is new. It's new messaging, it's a new sales video. So it converts really well. And then at the same time, individuals that have influence in this particular biz op space, they have a following, they can move their following into a new biz op without even using a video. So now you have thousands of people in the online biz op, and the company only has one sales video. So as all the people in the company in that particular biz op start to share that video via social media, via pay-per-click ads, via solo ads, and via blog posts, the video will lose all of its effectiveness. And the people who get hurt most by the loss of effectiveness? The newbie, the person with no following, who may not even have a good idea of what is going on behind the scenes. And so the newbie was me at one time, and it may be you today. However, I said, you know what? I'm going to be successful in this particular space. So I said, what can I do about my situation? And here is a solution to what's going on to you, and it was a solution to what was going on to me. So there's several solutions. And I spent a lot of money figuring these solutions out. So now you don't have to spend the money I spent. You can be fast tracked to the solution. See, first you got to get out of newbie status and start thinking like an actual business person. And I know the word business is a bad word in the opportunity marketing space. We like to call it biz ops or business ops. But actually thinking and talking about running a real business is a bad word because so many people come to this space without a real desire to actually have a business, but really the desire to actually just make money. They really want a glamorized hustle. That's really what they want. However, the issue is that if you're thinking from that mindset, it's going to be difficult to be successful. See, this niche is supposed to be all about marketing 2 hours a day, sitting on the beach with your laptop while you make $100K a day. And that narrative can be true. However, it's only true if you build an actual business around what you're doing and stop thinking like an opportunity seeker. All the top people in the biz ops space are running a real live business. They have offices, they have staff, the whole 9 yards. So don't believe that, I'm on vacation 24/7, that they're selling you, because that's not what's going on. And I have gone to very high level masterminds for people in this particular space. And you find out when you get to these masterminds that they're running a real business. They're not on vacation 24 hours a day. However, they market themselves as doing that. See, most opportunity seekers like the new hot thing. So every time a new company comes out, they go from one biz op to another. And that's just a lot of people's mentality. However, if you can take advantage of that mentality, you can have what we call first movers advantage. So now when you do that, when you move into an opportunity before everybody else, or you move before the momentum shifts, you can be ahead of the curve because all your sales materials are fresh. However, if you're a newbie, you're brand new to the game, and you come into a biz op 3 or 4 months after it has already started, you will probably struggle because all the sales material has been seen and everybody has made their mind up to go a state. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of biz ops don't last a long time, because the mentality of the people in this industry is to always go with something that's new and fresh. And so when something becomes old and tired and people perceive it to be stale, or that's an old opportunity, they don't want it. They want something new. And you really got to understand that. So like I said, individuals with a following can go into a company 2 years after it started. However, you are not them, so don't try to do that. Once you move out of the newbie stage, you can start making independent moves. However, you need to say, right now where you're at, you need to see which way the tide is going and adjust yourself accordingly. I can help you get out of newbie stage. However, you need to stay in touch with me via my blog post, via my Facebook page, or hit me up on Skype. You need to start pick up the information that I'm dropping to you. And if you like this particular video, share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook. All right, peace out.